You're listening to Second Mass Report, the Falling Skies podcast for Season 5, Episode 7 already?
Yep.
Episode 7
3 to go!
Everybody Has Their Reasons.
Well, 4 to go if you count this one. But after this, 3 to go.
I'm going to say 3 to go, because I'm assuming that those who are listening to this podcast have watched Episode 7.
But we haven't talked it out yet. So we'll have, technically, 3 plus this one to go. Right?
Yeah, I
You know what? Everybody has their reasons for doing their math their way.
Everybody has their reasonlessness.
Let me just lay that out there, Frank.
Rob has his reasonlessness.
All right, Frank.
What?
What did you think? We're fresh off watching this,
okay,
by the
see,
way.
now, after talking about the disappointment we had with episode 6, the respite, this, to me, was totally different. A very, in my opinion, the season 5 that we deserve type episode.
Okay.
However, no sooner do I say that than I want to point out the fact that what we're seeing in this episode, we've seen before. This felt like day 1 or day 2 in Charleston.
Yes.
All over again. Where we're focused more on defense than offense. We gotta talk this, leader into...
doesn't it feel like when they showed up in Charleston?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
It feels just like it, only... Instead of it just being a crazy leader, we find out there's more to it. Come on.
Right. So
there were parts of this. I'm never the downer. I'm a downer about this.
You were a downer about last episode.
Yeah, but I'm never a downer about these shows. I always like everything.
You're a downer twice in a row?
You know what?
Twice in a row, Rob.
That last one, I didn't care for. There were parts I liked.
You're talking about respite.
Thing. Yeah, same thing here. There are things I liked.
Right.
But I found... In between the things I liked, I found it really hard to watch.
Can you pause this? So, you didn't like the last 2 at all?
No, I didn't say that.
But you were disappointed with them?
I was disappointed on both counts. This one was better.
Yeah, I was definitely less disappointed for sure.
But you know what? I'll tell you why. It's what you said is one big reason. We've been here before. It felt like, why are we treading water? Where's our Pope story? Why are we starting a new storyline?
Now, and when this episode started, I said, we're going to see Pope again.
Right.
Because it said Colin Cunningham in the credits, it opened, and I was like,
Pope.
oh, okay, we're going to see him.
Nope
to the Pope.
That's right. Just say nope, Pope. So, I don't know, man. And it's not like that's all I need, but we've gone a couple episodes now, and it doesn't make sense because we're coming to the end of the series. And, okay, if this... I think this would have worked better for me if this had happened 3 episodes ago. Because they're obviously laying the groundwork for how this is going to end. Last episode, when we saw them have the communication, we knew the fish heads were congregating. Here we see a fish head is controlling this woman. It's like, okay, so the fish heads they're back against the wall. Now they're going into attack mode here, taking charge. Okay. But there's only 3 episodes left, and we have to deal with all these new characters.
Well, 4 if you count this podcast.
Right. Right. Touche, Frank. But if you... the storyline with Captain Attacky, Private Attacky, whatever he was, the guy that attacks Ben, and then he attacks Isabel, and then he attacks Maggie. I'm like, what is this character? What are we doing here?
Yeah, it didn't really seem like there was very clear communication between him and any of his leadership.
Right. If they're all hardcore military and they seemed like they were very by the book, who's letting this guy get away with this?
Well, and Jan from The Office...
Jan was definitely letting it happen.
Jan was totally...
She was on board.
It didn't seem like anything surprised her about it. She's like,
she was on board because she's being controlled by Fishhead.
Right. And that was something that I was like...
But this guy isn't.
Well, hold on. We just dropped a bomb there because...
Oh, I'm sorry. It must have been the kielbasa.
That's the way it looked from the end of the episode. It looked like she
was being controlled. Well, that's why she had the thing on her neck.
Yeah, the thing zoomed in on her neck like that, and she rubbed the blood off of it.
Yeah, and the guy earlier in the episode said, ever since she got injured in combat, she's been cold.
She's been
different.
She's been more like Jan from The Office.
Right. Exactly.
She probably got a short haircut.
Do you think this is a prequel to When She's Jan or a sequel?
Yeah,
because if this was Jan, Do you think Jan's trajectory is the aliens attack, everybody in the office is killed, except Jan, and she goes on to be in the military?
Wait, does this precede The Office, or is The Office
I think
before
this
Falling
is-
Skies?
I think that's a prequel to Falling Skies. And then Falling Skies is a prequel to The Walking Dead.
See, that makes me wonder what happened to Jan's daughter then.
She was skitterized.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
she's
why
Brian!
That's why when Dan brought up Jeannie, it hit her so hard.
Right, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yep. Now it's all coming together.
And the reason she's not on Walking Dead is that she has to die before the end of the series.
Exactly.
So we're predicting it now.
Oh, maybe she's in the pilot episode and they just chop her head and you don't know it's her because she's a zombie.
Well, she's not a lead role then.
And where's Dwight Skitter? That's what I'm waiting for.
Ooh, a skitterized Dwight?
Yeah, I said Dwight Squitter.
What?
Yeah.
Squatter?
Yeah, it's difficult to say that.
Man.
Say that one 10 times fast.
Makes you wonder what happened to, like, Michael and everything. He was out in Colorado by that time.
So many questions. He's part of the Mason militia. I'm sure of it. So, okay.
He's probably managing it.
That's right. He's the regional manager to the vice president of the Mason militia. With
Rick Grimes.
The other thing is we have Anne being a doctor, and she has to perform with the maggots, which seems awfully weird.
That was a very
gross.
That was a very tough scene to watch.
Is this like Mad Libs? I'm going to fill in the blanks for you.
I mean,
Frank?
typically when there's a scene like that, you're either not seeing what's happening, like operation wise, or it cuts away, as soon as you do, or like something. But like, I mean, they showed the operation.
They showed him drop a thing of maggots on him.
They showed him screaming. I mean, it was crazy.
But okay, they show that, but it seems odd to me. You've got this military base. They have weapons. They have all this stuff. How do they not have anything in the medical area?
Yeah, no painkiller. Do they have any medication at all?
The reason the second mass has it is because they scavenged it. Wouldn't these guys have gone out and scavenged even other bases?
Yeah, even Charleston was better equipped than that.
Right. So that seems a little odd to me.
But see,
and where's their medical staff? How is Anne their medical staff? That guy had no experience who was their doctor. They had way too many people functioning on that base to not have a doctor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I didn't write it, so.
Come on, Frank, you wrote it. Admit it. I've been trying we've done this for 3 seasons? I've been trying to get you to say you wrote it the whole time.
I wrote all the funny lines.
I've worked with you long enough, I know that's not true. Oh!
I got shot too.
Yep. I got shot too. Yeah, I got shot. Okay, so what did you think of Katie Marshall?
Not
court martial.
Right.
Which did confuse me when she said that. I was like,
she did do a little bit of courting.
Katie Marshall. Yeah.
Her and Weaver had some kind of connection.
Yes.
Which I picked up on like really fast when they were like just looking at each other and exchanging lines. I was like, you guys.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, guys. So that was weird.
Yeah, so did you...
And Weaver cut his hair.
Yeah. Well, he got on the military base.
Well, but he didn't get a military cut. He just cut off that ugly ponytail that he's been having since forever. And I love the way the camera like panned around the back of his head, like, look.
Yeah, look, no ponytail. I think that was because he is highest ranking there. He doesn't have to have the jarhead haircut, but he is going to get more of a military cut. He's getting rid of the ponytail. He's back on a base. I think that's what it was. But did you notice he still looked filthy? Like, you cut his hair. Couldn't you wash your face?
And I just have a question because I'm not, a military person.
Then why are you wearing a uniform right now?
Well, because I like the style.
Oh, okay.
But
oh, that's Steak and Shake. I'm sorry. Moving right ahead.
My apron got sticky. I need to wash it.
Right.
What I need to do is ask about how things actually work on a military base currently and how things would maybe have changed in a post-apocalyptic future. Because it seems like they're trying to keep a lot of military decorum, I think, as Tom put it.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I'm sensing things that are going on that I'm like, that wouldn't fly on a military base.
That guy would get to, like, do his weird interrogation thing, go and do the stuff with Ben. I mean, none of that.
Cruel and unusual punishment?
Forget the fact that the fish head is controlling Katie Marshall.
Which is what we're assuming.
I think nobody's making an ass out of you and me. That is a correct assumption. Okay, so the fish head is controlling her, but it's not like you're in the military, there's the one in charge, and then nobody except privates. That's not how they were structured. So all those different stopgaps between her and everyone else would have said, you can't physically attack people and torture for no good reason.
Right. So I just find it kind of ironic that they're keeping some, like, military decorum, but they're, like, throwing other things to the wind, and it's just like, what?
And
there's, like, no accountability.
She said that Weaver would be highest ranking. He's in charge. He said, no.
And that's my other question, because I was a little bit like...
But at the court-martial, he's the highest ranking officer there. He would not be at the sidelines.
But he relinquished, like, that authority to Jan.
But he would not have to sit at the sidelines. He is high. Even if he relinquishes to her and says, you're in charge, I'm observing. When it comes to a court-martial that is out of line, no way.
But, like, I'm just wondering, like, does it work in the military that whoever is highest ranking anywhere can just, like, lead and dictate anything, and, suddenly, we've been running the base this way, but this higher ranking person just waltzed in, and now we're under his leadership or her leadership? Like,
yes.
Is that how it works?
I'm pretty sure.
Because that doesn't sound...
That's how businesses work. If your regional manager walks into your store and they say jump, everybody jumps because that regional manager is higher ranked than your manager.
I understand.
The manager would have to go and talk. Well, the military is going to be a lot tougher than that. The highest ranking, when a colonel walks on the base, whatever that colonel says is yes, sir, and you do it, period.
It just seems weird to me.
Well, you don't work in the military.
Right, that's why I'm saying, as a non-military person...
Steak and Shake, they make you hop to it when the regional manager shows up, right? Oh, okay. No, you're just wearing the uniform.
All right, but I think my question is kind of going a little bit unnoticed. I'm not talking about...
By me? Are you kidding?
I'm talking about one person. I'm not talking about one person doing what the boss says. I'm talking about, like, the entire, like, way the things are run and leadership. Can someone just show up and say, I'm cowboying this whole thing?
If they're highest ranked, I fully believe yes.
Okay.
I do.
If anyone who's listening who knows better than me or Rob, like, let me know, because this seems really weird to me.
If the president walks on the base who is highest ranked, the president says we're shifting gears and this is what we're doing. Yes, they may, in private, the upper brass would have a conversation with the president and say, this is what we're doing. This doesn't seem correct. But they weren't doing even that. It was, she was in control and his power, because he told her she had power, it usurped him. No, that does not make sense.
Now, how does that jive with, if the overlord is really controlling Jan, why would she say to Dan, oh, hey, do you want to control everything? Do you want to run things? How about that?
Because I think over the course of the episode, he was gaining more control. Her scratch was making her a little weird, but I think when the Masons showed up, like, he was probably keeping tabs on her, but as the episode went on, he was gaining more and more control over her. That's my guess.
You're saying the overlord was gaining more control?
Yes.
Okay, that's weird. How would that happen?
I didn't say it made sense, Frank. I'm saying that's what I think they were going for.
Of course. All right. Well,
how about when Maggie went all WWE on that guy?
Well, how about when Ben did on those 3 armed guys?
That was the highlight of the episode.
That was something that we've never seen before.
He can do it though.
I know, and that's why I've always been a little bit like, why aren't they doing more with Ben? Because, like, I've known that people with spikes can, like, jump, like, those crazy distances.
Yes.
They can do that mental stuff.
But they should fight like the Avengers.
They can do, like, those push-ups. Like, we've seen them that. But, like, we haven't really seen them get in a fist fight and just, like, take charge like Yoda in episode 2.
Right.
Like, we haven't had that moment yet. But
Paul Frank.
All of a sudden, I was like, I've been wanting to see that for a long time. Very cool.
Yeah, that was great. When we left episode 2, I'm going to have to digress here for a second. When we left episode 2, we used to own a store, and we had these younger people working for us. They were like college age. And we went with them to see episode 2. And when we came out, it was like opening night, line around the building still to see the next scene or the next showing. And the one girl who had never seen Star Wars says, as we're walking past this big crowd, I really liked when Yogi was fighting. Yes. Yogi. You gotta like that. So anyway, Yogi is fighting with those guys.
I really
in the
want
bathroom.
to make a joke about, like, a picnic basket in, like, a Yoda voice right now.
I would love if you did. Can you work one up?
Maybe. Let's see.
This
picnic basket. I can't
I'm gonna
even
say no, you can't.
I can't even think of like what would come next. I'm trying to think of like simple yogi speech, but like backwards dialect Yoda. I can't even.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Hey, Darth Vader, that is my picnic Death Star. How's that?
Picnic and Death Star.
See, that worked. Death Star, it is. Picnic, it is. Right.
That's no moon.
Oh yes,
It's a picnic basket.
very good.
I don't know, dude.
Yes.
All right.
So enough of that. That was terrible. So yeah, his fight in the bathroom, awesome.
Yeah.
Him getting taken down, I don't buy it, but that's okay. I'll
He
let
got
that one
tased.
pass. He got tased, but he had heightened senses. He was going nuts on there. No way did that one guy walk up behind him and beep, the one,
Mr. Attacky.
yeah, no way. And then but this was pretty cool. I thought that one of our predictions was going to happen. I thought Ben was dead in that scene.
Well,
And you know what? That would have been a strong choice for this show. If he had died on that table because that guy pulled the thing out, and then you find out that he's dead, you know what? I think I would have enjoyed this episode more.
well,
I don't want Ben dead.
when he was
but that
pulling
would have
on
been
that-
stronger
when
writing.
he was pulling on that spike, I was saying
It's
that's going to kill him.
Yeah, it's
Because
going to break his spine.
Now, because we've seen back in season 1 when they tried to pull the harnesses off the kids, it would just kill them.
Right.
And I'm not
So
sure.
how did he survive?
And I guess the question becomes, what is it that's killing them? Is it the spike pulling on the spinal column?
that thing
that
is
just
wrapped around
snaps
his
you?
spine. It would snap the spine.
Wouldn't that just maybe like paralyze him then?
At the very least, yes.
Because I wanted to.
But he was up walking around after that.
I thought probably then what it is that kills you, and now that I think this through, what kills you if you try and remove the harness is the harness probably like says, if we're gonna go, we're both gonna go.
I thought you were going to say your Yogi Bear impression of Yoda was going to kill me, because that was killing me, Frank.
Well, I know, but I know you have some extra lives, so.
But you're working it. So okay. So then we see the fight scene with Maggie, and up until she did the wrestling move, I thought it was pretty great. The wrestling move, even though it was fun to watch, was ridiculous.
Now, who was she fighting? She was fighting.
She was fighting
Mr.
Attacky. Yeah,
Captain Attacky.
Captain Attacky.
Well, first he was attacking
Isabel,
Isabella.
who also, if you notice in that scene, so he pushes her down, and he's obviously going to be very bad. And then Maggie stops him with the gun, and then he attacks her. Isabel just laid on that table. Like, she wasn't like incapacitated. Nothing had happened yet other than he pushed her down. She just laid there until
Well, it was
the
probably-
opportune moment to get up and kick the guy.
It was probably a really comfortable table.
I think she was taking a little nap.
She just wanted to.
Oh, it's been so long since I've been relaxed.
She wanted to take it all in.
He was just starting some spike acupuncture on me. I'm so relaxed. They're playing Enya in the background. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but that was funny because she just is like hanging out in the background while Maggie's having her, they live moment fighting this guy for 10 minutes. And then he's on the ground and Isabella gets up and kicks him in the face and he falls over. Like, what is that? And then Maggie did the classic TV move, one punch and he's out. Like they're fighting the whole time and then she just gets just the right angle on old Glassjaw there and boom, he goes down. In real life, do you think it goes that way?
So you thought it was funny that like two chicks
I thought it was very 18.
took down a military man.
No, I don't think. No, it has nothing to do with it being two women. I think Maggie could take him down. I think the way they did it, her doing the big wrestling move, the turnbuckle move, and she gets him in the thing and spins him over. I'm like, what? And
Now,
Isabel is a foot from the guns.
Let me just ask
This
you
guy was just attacking her. Grab the gun and shoot him.
You sound
shoot
like
him in the
you
leg.
sound very interested in this scene. I almost blocked it out because of like I was just kind of like, oh, whatever. But I want to ask you about when he pulled that spike out of Ben.
Yes.
What exactly happened? It happened really fast, like attacked his face or something?
It attacked his face. This is another weird thing. That was fantastic when it attacked his face. Because the thing is like, and it's squiggling up and then right into his face. But he falls back. Now, that thing, its whole purpose is to like attach itself. If it went to his face, wouldn't it have attached to his face? No, it like fell off and he stepped on
He
it.
has like a Frankenstein looking thing sticking out of his neck.
It should have been.
That would have been crazy.
It should have like grabbed his cheek and like pulled into his face, but instead it like falls and then he steps on it. Those are like metal spikes. He could step on it all day. All it's going to do is attach to his shoe and go up into his heel.
Well, and like I don't really know. We haven't really seen a whole lot of this. I mean, I remember like everything I learn about like the harness itself is like super intriguing, and we keep learning little bits and pieces, every season. When I first saw it, I was going, it almost looks it looks like a mechanical thing, but it almost looks like biomechanical.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me,
it's part
too.
creature. So that was my first
screeching.
Yeah,
too.
and that was my first impression. But then when in season 2, when we saw how they get harnessed, and it's this like slug that attaches to you and then just kind of cracks open and it's just there now. Well then, they're removing the harness, but they're leaving the spikes in. Now the Volm are removing it,
And the Volm have this technology to actually remove the spikes.
Now, there was something where if the kids had their harnesses removed soon enough without the Volm means, the spikes would fall out, and not stay in. But
right, because they weren't in the spinal column as much.
But if they were...
Ben's, it has to be integrated into his spine.
Yeah, they're like fused.
Right, and he was able to pull them out with pliers.
Yeah, see, that to me was...
And wouldn't it have bled like crazy? It didn't. It got all red and black, and he pulled it out, and Ben just laid there, but that should have been like... It should have looked like when Dan Aykroyd played Julia Child on SNL and cut his thumb and it sprayed blood all over the place. That's what it should have looked like. Oh my, look at the blood! All over the place. Or Alien when the chest burster. It should have been like that.
I don't know. I don't know, because I feel like we just haven't seen it enough. It's so new. This is the first time we've seen anyone.
I can give all that a pass. I can't give a pass to the fact that it fell on the floor and he stepped on it. That didn't make sense.
Wait, he did?
Yes! It attacked his face and he fell to the side. He goes, wah! And then he stood up and he stomped. He was obviously crushing the thing that was on the floor.
Oh. I see. I missed that.
That makes no sense.
I was too busy going like, whoa, what just happened? That's awesome.
And he implied that he took the rest of the spikes out.
But he didn't.
Do we know that?
Well, yeah, because they said in the court-martial that or Ben said he pulled one of my spikes out.
Oh, okay.
And, but he said to Maggie to intimidate her, like...
That he took them all out.
Yeah.
And he screamed. Yeah.
Yeah. Which kind of happened, but just not only one.
Yes.
So
okay, well, I'll give a pass to that. I'm not giving a pass to him stepping on it. That doesn't seem to make sense.
Yeah, okay.
And Maggie's wrestling move was bizarre, and the fact that they, I do like that she said, we're not going out for Cosmos after this.
Yeah, that was a cool line.
But at the same time, she just obliterated the love triangle. Because now we found out she doesn't care. She's like, you know what? We already screwed this up. It's not happening. So,
well, and when she said that, I was like, dang right, Maggie. That was a mistake that you and Ben made together.
Right. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with all of that. I thought we were going to see some dumb love triangle at the end. I think that just ended it. Thank goodness. But I don't know why Isabella ever came into it. I don't think Hal needed a girlfriend to end the series. Well, she certainly didn't do anything in this scene. She all she did was sit there and wait for the opportune moment to get up and kick the guy. She had 2 guns next to her. How awesome was that? When first he took the one gun away from Maggie. If you watch that scene carefully, he's kind of pushing her around, and she's taking her other hand and she's working it in to get the other gun. I was watching real careful. I'm like, she's got that other gun she's going to pull out of there. And then when she pulled it, he just knocked it away. But it was like, that was really cool. Good use of the guns and the stage combat there.
Anything else you want to say about that scene?
Nope.
Good.
That was something that happened.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I feel like that just got kind of like lost in everything else that happened though, and you keep like
this
going back
isn't lost. So okay, there is an interesting thing going on. Once again, if this had been 2-3 episodes earlier, I think I would have had more to do with this. It just seems like odd placement. If that last episode hadn't happened, maybe this would work better for me. I do like that they've got this tension of the military guys, first of all, not trusting the fact that they're working with the Volm, and then also the fact that they're very distrustful of their past. And, we see it from our perspective, but I can understand when they're saying, so how did you know there was a thing on the moon? Well, I saw it. How did you get back? Now, we know the fish head was driving all that, but it is interesting. There is that idea of, maybe this is being manipulated.
Well, and see, I want to drive down this road because, and I don't think that this is the case, but I just want to since the show maybe is kind of bringing it up. You ever watch a movie like Flight Plan?
Sure.
Where maybe halfway through the movie you start to wonder, like, whoa, maybe this character actually is crazy.
Yeah, right.
So, and like, I had that moment today where I was like, oh, I wonder, like, what
with Tom?
Like, what kind of crazy twist would it be if we found out that this whole time, like, the s5e were, like, playing a long game or a long con, as
or
as
not
Sawyer
even
would
the
say.
s5e, that other group. Somebody wrote to us and said we get the name wrong.
What wrong? What name?
The name of the new alien. Because we always say something and they wrote to us. It's on Twitter. They said, you guys are saying it this way, but it's actually this. And I forgot what it is.
Why'd you even bring it up then?
Well, because we're saying it wrong. So we're just going to call him the new alien.
You're talking about the...
Cher. It looks like Cher.
What? You're talking about the Langoria or whatever it's called?
Yes, Eva Longoria.
What is it called? It's something like that.
It's Eva Longoria.
Ladonia.
That's Fredonia. That's from Duck Soup.
No, Ladonia. That's what Cochise called the creature that was extinct now and that got harnessed and became what we know as Skitters.
Yes.
You're assuming that is the same as this new alien? Because we don't know that yet.
No, what I was saying is...
And they haven't...
What if the Ladonia... I'm going to look it up while we're talking to it. I'm going to tell you if that's the right name. But what if we're assuming... Or what if they're playing the long game? What if they've been playing the game from day one? Once they figured out what they could do with Tom Mason, like how he could organize people and all those things. They're obviously communicating through him. What if that is the case? And what if when the s5e was talking through Katie and he was saying this, what if those were the questions he was asking? Like, do you see that you're being manipulated? There is a possibility.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. I just don't understand how this new alien would be doing that,
We should have had more time with the new alien. If it's the s5e doing it, I think that's a weaker choice. I think it's a better choice if it's the new alien. If not even from the beginning, from the moment that he went to the moon, that's where the new alien took over and started manipulating. That would be an interesting take. And it was cool that they were bringing up all those things and they were saying, yeah, you had eye worms, so you got rid of them. Who got rid of them? How'd they do that? And who told you you're all clear?
And interestingly, they were reluctant to bring up Alexis. Lexi never came up in that court-martial.
Right.
Tom never opened up and said, oh, well, you don't understand. See, my hybrid alien daughter was actually with me there, and she sacrificed herself.
He didn't say anything about Lexi.
And then I don't remember how I got back, but whatever happened, some new alien has been, like, contacting me in my dreams, pretending to be my wife. Like, I mean, he just, like, sat there like, dude, I don't really have a good answer for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. And, here's another thing. Somebody wrote this on here. Brooke Smith wrote this to us on Twitter. This is another thing that we said in the last episode, and they said, are you serious, Falling Skies? Are you just introducing women for every guy? Stop it. That's what we were saying. It's sure what it seems like. Weaver has Katie. Now, yes, she's being controlled, but Weaver gets Katie. Tom has Anne. Hal has Isabel. Ben and Maggie are on the rocks. And,
as they should be.
And as you said, at the end, we're going to end up with Matt with the girl in the hospital. Although
I think Pope might have something to say about that concept of everyone having their girl.
Right. Here we go. This was, it was Brooke also. Brooke Smith also wrote this. She wrote, by the way, the new alien race is called the Dornia, not whatever you've been calling it, Ladornia or something. So it's just Dornia. Maybe they're saying the Dornia, something like that, but that was the correction there. So,
well, and we don't even know if that's the new alien. When Cochise called...
Right, he said there's this other
said to
race.
Tom about the thing that was drawn by Ben, it looked like, he said what to me sounded like Ladonia. Now, are you saying it's the Donia? Because
yes.
That's not what I heard.
Right.
Falling Skies.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We get so much wrong. We throw so much at the wall, man. It's like we're just filling the picnic basket.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this shit right now.
So, there we go. We're going to call it the Dornia. That's what I'm going
I'm
with.
not going to.
Oh, you're going to look it up? Are you calling Brooke out?
No.
Frank.
She called me out, and I'm responding.
I'm calling you out,
I'm going to
too.
get to the bottom of this. Now, I can't find anything.
All right. So that does present an interesting idea, that the Dornia are controlling
No, but if they didn't start until the moon, they weren't controlling from the beginning. The control could have been all the way back to when Ben first got spiked, and it was strange. Remember in that first season, it was strange. They're like, well, why are you surviving? Why are you okay? And they were saying, well, some people are. Remember that? And we know that it was because they decided they were supposed to kill off Connor Jessup's character in the beginning, and then they ended up liking him.
Well, I don't think they were gonna kill him off. They were just thinking of replacing the actor.
Oh, I thought that they were killing off Ben.
What I remember hearing was that they were wondering whether or not they were still going to use Connor Jessup as Ben's actor after that first episode, and they decided to go with it.
I'm glad they did. He's one of the better actors on here, actually. He's one of the most interesting actors on this. I'll tell you who isn't. Isabel.
I'm on Falling Skies wiki.
Yes.
Dornia.
Ah! Brooke's right. Hashtag that.
Also
Frank.
known as Great Enemy.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I think that's just because that's what they called it. Somebody called it on there. We don't know. We're supposed to wonder, are the Dornia good guys or bad guys?
The Dornia, also referred to as the Great Enemy, are an alien race which are considered by the Ashveni to be their greatest foe. They are also the first race that the Ashveni enslaved, and therefore the basis for the Skitter slave race. Okay, well, according to this, and I'm not sure, who wrote that, but, according to the Falling Skies Wikipedia, or wiki page, they are one and the same alien. So it is the Dornia who is contacting Tom, and who the... Right, okay.
Okay, so... Going back to that premise, it could be the Dornia that are controlling things all the way through here from a certain point. I say it's since the moon, but that doesn't jive with what Katie was saying. Katie was implying that there was control from before that. So was that control through the Ashveni, or was it the Dornia doing stuff? If their stuff is all mental and psychological, maybe they didn't present themselves until the moon. Maybe that's when it was like, we need to step out of the shadows. But once again, we got 3 episodes left.
I can't even tell where we're going. Let me ask you a kind of a really broad question. If you were to rate the quality of, say, season 2 compared to, season 4 and 5-ish,
okay,
what would you think?
Ooh. Are you saying...
Because I feel like I remember you talking really highly about, especially the second season, saying things like it played like a movie.
Yes.
It was very, very well done, very compelling. And I feel like we've done a lot more complaining about, the last couple seasons or so.
I think this season has been the problem.
Okay.
And I do think it's we had a bunch of story ideas that we wanted to put out there. Let's make them one-shots. Let's just kind of wrap this up this way. I think that the pacing is off. I think they would have made a much stronger choice making this, once again, like a 10-part movie, like Daredevil was. Daredevil is 12 episodes, 13 episodes, whatever it is.
On Netflix.
It is a movie.
Not the movie Daredevil.
No,
the Netflix.
The Netflix show. It is a movie. If you watch that in one thread, it is one movie. Now, yes, it's got all these different storylines and all this stuff happening. They could have done all these little side stories and that in there. This is kind of like that, but it's not nearly as strong. I think that they could have forgotten some of these storylines, things that they were like, wow, we would love to do this story where they go to this military base. You know what? If you want to do that in episode maybe 3. You got the Pope story, great. That ties into the rest of the series. The family that he stayed with doesn't make sense. Isabel doesn't make sense. Why did you introduce Brian and that? Doesn't make sense. We already saw the skitterization with Jeannie. Do more with that, build on that. We talked about that before. Have it be that wow, they're encountering armies of these humanish skitters. That would be pretty cool. But don't give us then the military thing. It just seems like we've got a lot of ingredients in the stew right now, and it's not really leading to a definitive story at this point. Could be wrong. Last 3 episodes could knock us out of the park, but I don't think so. I think we'll get to the end and we'll say, yeah, that was cool. It was a good ending. I liked how it ended, but I think it could have been, if it was season 2 was a better series.
Now, is this due to the change of director?
Could be.
Between, I want to say, seasons 3 and 4.
I don't know. I don't know the history of the show. Like,
because I want to say David Icke started season 4.
you mean as the showrunner?
Whatever you want to call it.
Well, like Breaking Bad has a singular showrunner for the entire run of the series. That's one of the reasons that show works so well. Take a show like Under the Dome. First season, there was supposedly one showrunner. It was Brian Michael Bendis. And it was.
Can we define showrunner real quick?
Well, they're the person that oversees everything. All the story
is that
goes
the same
through
as
them.
executive producer?
Yes, it's
Okay.
similar. Yes. Okay. They're the ones that all story elements go through. They control how the writing goes and everything. They're involved in every aspect of it. They really do run what we see. Okay? Shows that when they change showrunners, well, they may not share the vision of the earlier showrunner. Things get lost. Things change. Okay? Under the Dome is a great example. Season 2, it still has Brian Michael Bendis' name on there. It has it in for season 3. Guess what? He's not involved.
So do we want to say that maybe that had something to do with kind of why we feel like season 2 and maybe 1 and maybe 3
were maybe stronger because they had a definitive showrunner.
They had more quality. The writing seemed a little more
right, and there can be a team of writers.
Right.
You know, there can be a different writer on every show. Look at Orange is the New Black. Genji Kogan, I think, is the showrunner on that. There are different writers and different directors for every episode. But it seems unified. The story moves a certain way. They control that whole thing. So what you're seeing is the vision of one person that's molding it. That, I think, is what we might be missing here. I think these are leftover stories they wanted to cram in. They've got good ideas, but they're not...
We don't have time for them.
Yeah, you know what? They needed an editor when they were pitching story ideas per episode. I would rather see the tension of them fighting the aliens. Let's finish out this story with the aliens. Everything seems to be about humans this season.
Well, speaking of that point, everything about this military base, like what do they call it, 14th Virginia?
Yeah.
Is that what they're calling it? They seem very narrowly focused. And when I say that, I feel like they're focusing on some things while neglecting other things.
Yes.
Things like obtaining medications. Things like
yes.
Things like a full, proper military decorum.
Right.
Things like fighting the aliens and not just the human sympathizers. Who,
right.
Up until this episode,
what they were hunting, they said. But if Jan wasn't turned this whole time, why was that their main focus?
Yeah.
And if she was turned this whole time, well, that wasn't consistent with what we saw.
And maybe she's gotten more focused on the human, kind of human. And we haven't really seen a whole lot of human sympathizers to the s5e really in this show, unless you count the ones in those, concentration camp looking things from last season.
Right. Which is another thing that has just gone by the wayside because, Tom blew up the thing on the moon and that ended that. But did it? Wouldn't there be residual effects from these things?
I guess that might be what we're hearing about, but we haven't really seen skitters fighting humans alongside humans. We haven't really seen a whole lot of that.
And I wonder also if the budget on here has changed because it is last season. Because we're not seeing, like last season, we saw some pretty spectacular effects. And you might have one episode that was just, talking heads, but the next one, skitters everywhere. Here, we've had a couple of times we've seen skitters. Not really up close, so they're all CGI. We had Brian, but we never got a great view of Brian. And we've had, it seems like we've had a little more Cochise, but not the other Voln.
Right.
We had his dad for part of it.
Well, and you want to talk about budget, like, if you'll notice, like, there were a lot of efforts to do, to really promote Falling Skies back in, like, seasons 2, 3.
Right.
And then...
Not here.
Like, there was the app, we could follow along each episode. There was a lot more commercials. There was all the, surveys online that were trying to judge, what people liked and what they didn't. I just feel like they're just kind of, like, letting this coast now. They're not, like, playing up, like, all the promotions and stuff and let's, boost the ratings. And we've been the same way. We haven't talked once about, like, how the show is being rated and is it going to get renewed? Is it going to, we know it's the last season and we're kind of just letting it play out. Like, we're not like, oh, are we going to have another? It's not going to cancel. Is it? Like, no, we're just kind of like, yeah, blah, it's the end.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder if that's kind of the way they're promoting it and maybe that's bleeding into a little bit the way they wrote it.
Well, see, that's where the showrunner comes in. If there was a definitive voice, you want to do your final chapter. You don't want to peter out at the end of a book. So if it is if David Icke's not involved at this point, which I don't believe he is.
No, he is.
He is.
He's the new showrunner.
Oh, he's the new showrunner.
I forget the name of the other one. It was Gregory something. I don't know. I forget.
So that really could be it. It could be that, this isn't a singular vision any longer. And that's why we go into the final season and it's not as strong. And once again, new showrunner, these are story ideas we've heard. Let's get them in here. Yeah, but it's I'd rather you drop some of those awesome ideas and let's get some of these, let's really tell this story. Because right now it seems like a mess.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm still enjoying a lot of it, but I do think it's not as strong in a lot of areas as some of the Falling Skies that we've seen in kind of the golden days of Falling Skies.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I haven't turned down the show. I'm being, realistic about what I'm seeing. I'm having a harder time with these last couple episodes. I'm hoping we finish out strong. I'm hoping the next 3, all you hear is how frigging amazing this is. Yeah. And it could be.
Yeah. I'm hoping for that too. And I'm hoping that the resolution was worth the wait on a lot of the things that we're waiting for. So,
get back and focus on the Masons and focus on Pope. Let's end it out with those guys and finish out what happens with these aliens. Don't bring me... If a different alien race shows up at this point, I'm going to lose my mind. Oh, wait, and then there's another alien race. The only way that works is if in the very last second, when we think everything's done, another ship shows up, and it's like, oh, no. That would be a great ending. That would actually go with the series, because every time the last minute of the final...
So you're saying you want them to leave us with a cliffhanger?
Oh, I would love
it. End?
I would love it.
Like, intentionally?
Yes.
Like, not, it got canceled and whoops. Like,
intentionally, and a crazy cliffhanger. So, like, we see resolution. We see the s5e are done.
Imagine if that's how they planned Alcatraz.
The Dornia's done.
Where Rebecca just dies, and, like, you die with her.
Right. And it would be like, what? Wait, is this over? That would be a great ending. Is it going to happen?
Tom dies and we die with him.
Tom dies, and the last shot is a big ship coming down that we've never seen before. So it's like, oh, this is not even close to over.
But it is.
Yes. That would be fantastic.
That would be insane. You would love that, and everyone else would hate it.
Oh.
You'd be like, show redeemed, everyone else would be like, show ruined.
I would love it.
I could see that. You would love it.
That would be awesome. Frank, make it happen.
All right, I'll let him know that Rob wants that to happen, and he's the only one that wants it to happen. So.
Not the only one.
So if you care about your DVD sales, let's think of something else.
That would cause DVD sales, because that leaves the door open. If, as shows like Heroes is coming back. 10 years from now, if somebody goes, you know what? Let's revive Falling Skies. Even if it's a comic book or if it's a animated thing or whatever it is. There's so many options now for things to have a second life.
What would you think about like a Falling Skies movie?
That'd be great. Not in this incarnation.
You mean like maybe somewhere else in the world, a story with like that would be really cool. Like a Falling Skies movie that doesn't even talk about the second mass, but it's
right,
like,
because they're not in communication.
But it shows you what's going on in like California or something.
I would dig that.
That would be really cool if Steven Spielberg wanted to
I would dig
run with that.
But the problem is it depends on how this ends.
Yeah.
If it ends the way I said, you can do that. And then they talk about this like in passing, like the first wave, the s5e and all that. Like,
and you're just like a Mason militia, but we don't really even know who Mason is.
Yes.
Like that kind of thing.
Yes.
That would be funny. That would be very, very interesting.
Is it going to happen? I don't think so.
No, because you'd be better if this were happening, if the writing on this show were better, and the storylines were cleaner, and probably if this were on like a major network. Like if this were on like, ABC or something.
Right. You'd be more likely to see that happen.
You'd have like a market for that movie basically ready to go.
Right.
So it'd be low risk.
Right.
But I think it'd be a higher risk making that movie.
Right. Unless you put it on Sci-Fi Channel.
But then
that's not going to
low
happen.
Budget and I'd still watch it.
It's like what happened with Babylon 5. Babylon 5, after it ended, it had 4 great seasons. Well, the first one was okay, then 3 incredible seasons, and then it was terrible in the last season. And then they came back and they did movies, and they were made for TV movies, and I couldn't get through any of them. They were all terrible. People always are like, oh, they were good. They were not good. I don't want that to be the fate of Falling Skies. I would rather it end and we just remember a cool 5 seasons, and the stuff that stands out, stands out.
You know what's funny is like, I never assume that anyone who's really part of the show, especially like upper level, like producers or showrunners, are listening to podcasts like these.
They do.
But see, I
don't think they listen to us, but they do listen.
I will tell you what. If I were involved in any way in a show like this, I would be eating up conversations like the ones we're having right now.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I would be listening to them all the time. Especially if I were like a David Icke, I'd be going like, let's bounce some ideas around. Like,
yes.
Like that would be very cool.
And frankly, I would listen to me. That's what I...
Only you would listen to you.
And that's why doing it in the same room is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the second podcast now. We're
in the same room,
Rob's basement here. So
it's so funny.
We should. I don't know why we haven't done this more often. I
don't know why we don't get our shows out on time. Frank, shot to Frank.
I have a couple jobs.
You know what? We do, Frank, you could do this all the time because we do Live at the Blue Box. Every Saturday night, we're at the Doctor Who Cafe
Every
in
Saturday
Elgin.
night, I'm spinning tunes on K-Hits.
Oh, priorities, Frank. Who needs money when you could be talking and eating sandwiches?
It's not about money. It's about playing tunes for Chicagoland.
All right, I'll give you that.
Keeping the people dancing.
Keeping the peeps dancing. Yep. Are we done?
Are we there yet?
I think we're there.
We'll be done when we get done.
I don't think there's anything else on here.
If there is, forget it. Look, Falling Skies show can be seen on TNT Sunday nights. I know it's 9 p.m. Central, so I guess
3 more weeks.
Yeah, well, if you haven't, I just feel like I should say that because
now's the time. If you haven't, go back and binge from the beginning and lead into these final 3.
It's binge-worthy.
You got plenty of time, and you know what? It is. And then if you're a little disappointed at this point, where I'm feeling that disappointment, you're gonna feel strong going into the end. Now's the time. Go back. At least go back to season 2, but I think season 1.
Watch the ratings spike up now.
Yes.
That we're having this talk.
Yes, not ours, but theirs. Yes.
Well, it has to correspond.
All right.
At any rate, the Second Menace Report Falling Skies podcast is a production of the Southgate Media Group. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay active, and stay brave, and do keep up with us online and social media.